Sharm Espina, and this is PTV News Now. President Joe Biden hosted Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. aiming to send a clear message to Beijing that it must stop behaving aggressively against its South China Sea neighbors. White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara reports.
Ramped up aggression in the South China Sea, with Chinese Coast Guard vessels deploying water cannons and performing other dangerous maneuvers on Philippine boats. It was a focus of the trilateral summit Thursday between President Joe Biden and leaders of two U.S. allies in Asia, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Any attack on Philippine aircraft, vessels, or armed forces in the South China Sea would invoke our Mutual Defense Treaty.
China's so-called gray zone tactics of intimidation, including ramming into ships, fall dangerously close to triggering the Mutual Defense Treaty between Washington and Manila. Marcos did not publicly mention China, but couched his words in diplomatic terms often used to target Beijing.
Facing the complex challenges of our time requires concerted efforts on everyone's part, a dedication to a common purpose, and an unwavering commitment to the rules-based international order.
Kishida is concerned with similar Chinese tactics around disputed islands in the East China Sea, called Diaoyu in China and Senkaku in Japan.
In the midst of compound crisis faced by the global community, multi-layered cooperation between allies and like-minded countries is essential if we are to maintain and bolster a free and open international order based on the rule of law.
Last week, the Philippines, the U.S., Japan, and Australia held joint naval and air operations in the South China Sea to deter Beijing, prompting criticism by Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning.
China is resolutely opposed to the Cold War mentality and bloc politics, and to words and deeds that make and exacerbate contradictions and undermine other countries' strategic security and interests.
Biden, Marcos, and Kishida announced new maritime defense deterrence measures alongside infrastructure investments in the Philippines and collaboration on global humanitarian assistance efforts. Patsy Widakuswara, Viewing News, Washington.
In the meantime, a bus ran off a highway in northeastern Brazil and overturned, killing at least 9 people and injuring over 20 more. The Federal Highway Police said the bus was traveling from Rio de Janeiro in the southeast to the tourist town of Porto Seguro in Bahia State when it ran off the road around. There were 34 people on board. Authorities did not release details on the condition of those injured or the victims' nationalities, but said the 2 bus drivers escaped unharmed. Bus accidents are frequent in Brazil, which is the world's 5th biggest country by surface area, and most of whose population relies heavily on road transportation. Commuters at a suburban Australian railway station waited for a late-night train to take them home. Instead, a horse arrived. Bizarre security footage shows a rogue racehorse startling passengers as it trotted up and down a train platform in outer Sydney. Transport officials said the off-the-rails runway, clad in a flapping beige horse blanket, had bolted from a nearby stable. When the train finally did arrive, it had to cruise through the station with its doors closed, lest the horse try to hitch a ride. At one point, the horse appeared to chase a man down the platform. After prowling the platform for 17 minutes, the horse's trainer eventually arrived to bundle the bewildered animal off in a trailer. This has been Sharm Espina. Stay informed, get ahead, and get the news right here on PTV.